Good evening. We now call the Greensville County School Board meeting together for June 10th, 2024. Could we have a roll call from the
Madam Chair Janet Roberts.
present?
Vice Chair Rustin Jesse.
Here.
Mr. Ronell Pearson.
Here.
Miss Betsy Reed Moore.
Yeah.
A quorum has been established.
Thank you. Now may we bow for our invocation. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come together to work and collaborate on things for the Greensville County Public Schools. We ask for your direction and your guidance and your protection. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Yes. So our mission statement in Greensville County Public Schools is together with families in the community, GCPS is committed to providing a safe, rigorous, student-centered environment that empowers learners. Our vision, cultivating excellence, transforming lives, impacting futures. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'm seeking the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we accept the agenda as printed. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, nay. The ayes have it. The agenda is approved. Next, I'm seeking approval for the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we accept the approval of the minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, nay. The ayes have it. The motion is carried. Next, we will accept the approval of the warrants. Okay.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we approve the warrants as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and this approval of the warrants. Now I will turn it over to Dr. Edwards for the superintendent's report and information.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to say good evening to everyone. In the beginning of our superintendent's report, to be respectful of time, I would like to call Dr. Baker from the Berkeley Group forward. We've been embarking on the strategic plan for several sessions throughout this year, and we've reached the final plateau. And so I'd like to call Dr. Baker of the Berkeley Group forward to give us an overall view of where we are with the strategic plan before we go for approval. Dr. Berkeley. Dr. Baker.
I'll go by either one. Good evening, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen of the board. It is a pleasure to be here with you this evening. Thank you for giving me just a few minutes to summarize the work that I've had the pleasure of facilitating and being a part of with your superintendent, your leadership team, and you. As you'll recall, this all began a few months back when I was able to kick off this process and meeting with you, the school board, to get some guidance and direction and to just reinforce the direction that you wanted this work and this project to go through. So I'm going to take us through. It should be pretty brief and allow for an opportunity at the end for you to ask questions and any discussion regarding the draft comprehensive strategic plan. So the first thing I wanted to do is to just take you through the agenda for this evening. It's going to be a quick summary of what the update and redesign process looked like. When we were having these meetings and these work sessions, what were we doing and how did it culminate in what you see before you this evening? Second, to look at the current strategic plan that you have reviewed and to go over it and highlight just the broad features of it, what the focus areas are. And I'm going to culminate the presentation with just some guidance on moving forward, because as a theme throughout our work together has been not just the development of a plan, but a plan that you will actually work, a plan that will become the central guide, the blueprint for what you do each and every day here in Greensville County Public Schools. And then again, an opportunity for a discussion and Q&A. So a summary. This began really just in some initial planning with Dr. Edwards back in December and January, kind of looking at the scope of the project, then meeting with you, the school board. Then in February, April, and May, and there was some COVID that happened during that time. There were some things that happened that we had to do some adjusting of schedules between the leadership team and I, but we were able to maintain our momentum and not only had 3 work sessions, but we actually added one at the end to make sure that the leadership team had an opportunity to fully review the draft plan and provide feedback on it. And then this evening, here in June, culminates the final work session with you, school board, a final draft plan. And then hopefully this evening, you will be able to adopt this plan and move forward as you start your summer. Yeah, we can just go ahead and go back to that other screen. I think this is me always wanting to try to show my lighthouse, and my lighthouse does not want to load. So that is not you. That is, this lighthouse causes a lot of problems, even though it's supposed to be a symbol of stability and strength. It ends up being something that confuses and causes chaos. But on that slide before this one, basically I posed some questions that I'm going to answer. What did our leadership team, your leadership team work sessions involve? What did we do when we were meeting together? How were they structured? And what did we uncover regarding your current plan and the process for moving forward? And so you see then in the next slide, just an overview, very quick summary of each session. We went over the strategic planning principles, the components and processes that are part of best practice when you are both developing and implementing and evaluating a strategic plan. We spent a great deal of time, or a significant amount of time, on the development of core values. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about that in just a minute. We also made sure to look at your current plan. You don't ever want to begin a new plan or update a plan and not work with your foundation document, with the raw material that you have in front of you. So we wanted to review and unpack that plan and make some distinctions about what was working and what maybe needed to be adjusted for the future. In session 2, we continued with the core values development. Then we also, with your entire leadership team, did what we call a SWOT analysis. Many of you may be familiar with that. That is really just analyzing your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats to continuous improvement. And then looking at something that I think was important for you all in terms of looking at your future graduates. What do you want to make sure are the skills that are most reinforced throughout that K-12 experience? So when they graduate, you can trust that they're not only graduating with credits, but they're graduating with viable career and college-ready skills. And so we gauged from your team what were the most important skills that you wanted those students to have come graduation time. And then in session 3, we finished up with the core values. We not only looked at reviewing them, I asked for folks to go beyond just having a word be the core value, because what tends to happen is that we have these words that we use, but we haven't defined them collectively as an organization. So we wanted to make sure that if we say we want accountability, for example, to be a core value, what do we mean by core accountability? What do we mean in terms of both the collective commitment to that as a school division, but also what are some of the behaviors that we have to demonstrate individually and as a school division in order to demonstrate the very core value that we say is important. Then also we looked at that SWOT analysis review to see what we uncovered. And then finally, the development of goal areas. What are the areas? As I said at the very beginning when we met, the purpose of a strategic plan is to bring focus and direction to the work that you do every day to make sure that you maximize all of your resources. And so we looked at what are those goal areas, and then even more importantly, how are we going to know that we've been successful? How are you going to know that you are achieving these goals? What are the various performance indicators that you're going to use in the process of implementation? And then finally, we had a draft plan review, and that leads us to this evening. What were some of the things we did during our meetings? As you know, I did some of that with you as a school board. We did some team and what I call culture building activities, and it's something that I'm going to circle back to at the end. We did the SWOT analysis. We did active sorts of group activities like gallery walks and different team activities and discussions. So it wasn't one of those, it was professional learning that was sort of co-constructed. It wasn't something that I just presented and others received. And then finally, we looked at how the school division was performing data review and analysis. This is just a quick snapshot of what your current plan looks like, just the broad plan. And what we talked about from the beginning is this is the current plan, and it was going to evolve over the course of time together into something that resembles this, is structured more like this. And hopefully you can see some of the differences, but some of it was making sure that we know what we mean by a goal and an objective and a strategy, how we define those things. And so you have in front of you, I believe it's been distributed to you, the full strategic plan. And so I'm going to go through the plan with you very briefly, and I obviously allow for questions at the end. But one of the things that I shared with your team, and I'll share again with you, is that it's so important that when you have goals, values, and missions, that they are not just words on a page, but they are something you individually and collectively to internalize, that they become what you are about. In essence, they become the culture. They drive what you do each and every day. And so I took the structure that we used was really to look at these 4 pillars of continuous improvement, making sure that you had a mission. Why are you here? Who are you serving? What's the point of even existing as a school system? Vision, what must you become? Where are you going? What is the direction, that compelling future? Values, what we just talked about. How? This is how we're going to behave to achieve that vision and mission, and it's going to have assembled collective commitments that guide our work and how we do our work. And then finally, goals that give you that something that you can see clearly. We are getting closer to fulfilling our mission. We are achieving something in a particular area that is making our school system better for the people that we serve, namely our students. So this whole overarching foundational area that I call the purpose is really about getting people to understand why we do what we do. When your employees and your staff are getting up on Monday morning, what are their attitudes about coming to work? If they're thinking about just what they're doing, it's going to be lukewarm at best. But if they come to work every day going, I know exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing and that it matters, that's what people care about. That's what drives them. And so this whole section that you have is, it's always refreshing, and maybe I'm just a little bit of a geek when it comes to some of this stuff, and I'll readily admit it, but I loved hearing your superintendent reinforce what your mission and vision is at the beginning of every school board meeting. I think it's so important that it become internalized. It becomes something that people connect with, and it's not just something that's a slogan, but that it's something that really becomes why you're here, what you're trying to accomplish. That part of your plan had been, you had gone through another cycle of analyzing it and redrafting it and branding it. So it wasn't something that we really wanted to change at all. It was something that we wanted to align our other components of the plan with. Oops. And so you can see the core values, student-centered, leadership, accountability, integrity, and respect. And with your leadership team, we did a lot of discussion about not only identifying what are the main core values, but how are we going to define them? And they are defined in that plan so that as you begin to do activities and professional learning with your staff over the summer and throughout the next few years, you will be able to say, this is what this really means. And sorry that one little piece did not translate as well onto the PowerPoint as it looked like on my screen. But we also looked at those skills, and you can see the profile of a Greensville graduate is really about developing future leaders, about developing effective communicators, about developing collaborators, creative problem solvers, critical thinkers, and resilient and self-sufficient citizens. And these were ultimately the goal areas that we wanted to focus on in terms of developing goals, objectives, and strategies to move you forward. Student learning and academic excellence, high quality, committed, and diverse workforce, student and staff well-being, communication and community engagement, and operational excellence and efficiency. And you see these are in a circle. You're going to see a lot of references whenever I'm presenting to cycles and to things being cyclical. All of these areas, while individual areas, they are all connected. So when you go to implement a strategic plan, you don't go, well, today we're going to implement goal number 1, objective 1.1. These things are all being implemented, and sometimes in concert with each other, sometimes together to make the maximum amount of a difference. And so the very first goal, which I think it's first, and it probably is central to where your improvement efforts need to be focused, and that is on student learning and academic excellence. And we talked a lot about what we wanted students to be able to do when they graduate. One of the things that was very clear is that, and there has been an emphasis here in this school division on project-based learning and on students experiencing their learning, not just coming in and being passive, but coming in and really experiencing in their classrooms things that are going to help prepare them for future careers, for college, and ultimately for life. And I put it here, some of the objectives, and we define objectives as still part of that goal, but these are things that ultimately can be measured, such as all students demonstrating continuous measurable growth in literacy, which I know is an essential focus for this school system at this time. When we go to the next one, you see high quality, committed, and diverse workforce. Our business here in public education is that of a people business. We can have the best strategies and the best plans, but we ultimately need people that are going to implement it, and we need the best staff. And so we have to think about how to best bring in staff, how to retain them, how to develop them, and how to support them along the way to make sure they are able to deliver the services that our students and our community need each and every day. So you can see just a couple of those objectives are really about making sure that you are monitoring the ways in which you are doing this, enhancing that quality. You can enhance that quality by providing relevant, job-embedded, and differentiated professional development and professional learning. Student and staff well-being really comes down to something you may have heard before, which is focusing not only on the whole child, but focusing on the whole educator or the whole staff member, making sure that we're realizing that we're focused on helping nurture human beings and helping them learn and grow. And we need to make sure that their social, emotional, and mental health is at the top of that priority. We need to make sure that we provide the kinds of systems of training and support to support their safety each and every day. Because if you know Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you cannot get to deep learning if students and staff do not feel safe in the environments that they work in. Communication and community engagement, and I'm going to note that last word, engagement. Oftentimes we are communicating. How do we strategically ensure that we are having an ongoing two-way conversation with our community? How are we cultivating those effective, sustainable partnerships with our families and community partners? Some of the ways that you're going to do that is to increase, align, and expand family, staff, and community engagement opportunities, making sure there are more opportunities for community to be a part of what you're doing with your students, for families to be in your schools. You see here to increase communication efforts to engage families and support stakeholder advocacy. Oftentimes we want our families to go, okay, I want to support what you need, whether it's in a budget, whether it's with a capital improvement plan, but I need to better understand why. Some of that has to be proactive in terms of throughout the year, making sure that all of your stakeholders are informed on where you're going and why you need certain resources to move forward. And then increasing mutually supportive and sustainable partnership opportunities with your business community, with those who can provide different supplemental supports to what you're doing. And then finally, organizational excellence and efficiency. You're going to notice that objective 5.1 for enhancing systemic processes for providing high quality services through efficient, transparent stewardship of human, fiscal, and capital resources. You're going to see that first one is really, and I did take some editorial liberties here, and I shared that with Dr. Edwards. If you go into an implementation of a plan that is pretty detailed, pretty robust like this one, you need to make sure that you have an emphasis on process, on how you're actually going to implement this plan. And so there's a lot of guidance and direction on how that might look in the strategies that are under 5.1. And then second, maximizing human and fiscal resources to meet the needs of the school division. I am well aware of the fact that in almost every single public school division in the nation, come every budget season, you're going to need to ask state, local, and federal government for more resources, not less, and usually not the same. And in order to do that, usually you get asked the question, well, how are our current resources that have been allocated being maximized? How are they best being utilized so that we know there is nothing that is being spent that is not going towards the main effort, that is not going towards what our students need the most? And so in closing, I wanted to provide some reinforcement on moving forward, just some implementation guidance. I and Berkeley Group would certainly love to continue to work with Greensville in the implementation process or in working with the board in whatever way you see fit in the future. But let's just say that doesn't happen. I want to leave you with this. Most immediately, as soon as you have come to the place where you feel comfortable approving and adopting that plan, if that's tonight, then tomorrow you begin the work of ensuring that these strategies are brought to life in action plans and in structures that ensure that you start the year ready to go. And tactics which get really into how are we going to implement these strategies, who's going to do it, when are they going to do it, begin to put structures in place to ensure that that implementation process begins immediately. And to continue to develop this system mindset. You see here the Plan, Do, Study, Act, the cycle of continuous improvement that many people are familiar with. But then I'm going to show you here, you'll notice that under each goal area, after we've gone through the objectives and strategies for the strategic plan, you'll notice that there are performance indicators that can be used to measure progress. And in this chart, you see plan, analyze causes, assess your current system. That's part of what we've been doing together. Then getting to work on improving, saying this is how we think we're going to get better. Let's start doing it. Let's try out some of these strategies. Let's begin the work. But where we tend to struggle in public education, in many large complex organizations and businesses, we struggle with that next part. We never get to study. And if we do get to studying, which is measuring our outcomes, analyzing how we're doing, we usually get to it way down the line, say at the end of the school year, or maybe at the semester level. I would encourage you to make sure that you are constantly monitoring, constantly looking at the measures and how close you are getting to achieving your goals. What's working, what's not. So it should be a fluid, ongoing process. And then finally, once you've done that analysis, making adjustments, whether that be in the form, as I'm going to mention in a second, of school board policy, whether that be in the form of additional positions or different kinds of positions that you need, different kinds of training, make sure that you are seeing that cycle all the way through. And so ultimately, you don't want to have a plan and then have all kinds of other things happening that have no connection to your plan. You ultimately want your plan to look like this, to be going in the direction aligned with the actual document that you see before you. It's one thing to have a plan. It's another thing to work a plan. And this is something that I think is so difficult. When I leave this evening, you're going to have a host of other things that are going to rise to the surface that are going to be very important for you to work through as a school board, as a school division leadership team. But once you have a focus like this plan, it's so important to have the conviction to stick with it, to focus on it, and to make sure that you don't kind of be swayed away from it with the latest crisis that comes about, but that you actually lean into it when things are most difficult. And so this is your opportunity, school board, school administration, to work together on the system, not just working in it, but working on it, working on improving the system, because one day all of us will be gone and others will come into these roles. When they come into those roles, what will they find? Will they have systems and processes that help them to move forward immediately that can be sustained, or will they have to say, we've got a lot of work to do here, and we want it to be the former? And so ultimately, I always say that school boards and superintendents are both responsible when it comes to making sure that a strategic plan is both developed, executed, and evaluated. It's just that you have different lanes by which you are focusing on it. In the day-to-day, the superintendent and his staff and the school staff, they are making sure that it's being implemented. They are managing that day-to-day work. But as a board, your work is essential. It's essential that you are making sure that your policies are helping to drive that work, to align with that work, to support that work, and that you are engaging the community as advocates on behalf of the plan. And so I leave you with this, and then I'll open it up for any questions that you have. We can have the best strategy. We can have the best written plans that they can be submitted to organizations and win awards, but they mean nothing if there isn't a culture that ensures that they're implemented. So it's so important. And one of the things that I tried to model with your team, and I thought we had a lot of fun together. I'm looking around. I think we did. I think we were able to together, talk about how some of the things we did in developing the plan need to continue in terms of how the team works together. And Dr. Edwards was extremely supportive and helpful with that. And I can see that if that kind of culture moves forward, that sense that we are all in this together, that we own it together, that we are all about our students, that we are student-centered, if those things permeate the culture, then I know you are going to be extremely successful in the future. So with that, I think you don't see anything because it's another lighthouse. But I know that I put Dr. Edwards on the presentation as well. I'll certainly answer any questions that I can, but he may also be able to answer some questions that you have related to the plan itself. Thank you.
And so to the board, this culminates 6 sessions that we've been embarked upon for the next phase of Greensville County Public Schools as it transforms from being a division that's under an MOU to the transformation that we put structures, processes, protocols, and procedures in place that we can one day be sustainable within our own organization. And while we definitely love the work with the OSQ, we are working diligently to get all schools fully accredited, which is the main focus in the mission, so that we can move forward here in Greensville County Public Schools. And so at that point, open up the floor for the board for any questions that they may have. Dr. Baker, I guess you did a phenomenal job. And we certainly thank you for the work that the Berkeley Group has done in Greensville County Public Schools. And we look forward to us moving forward at 212 degrees, making that extra effort so that we can be sustainable here in Greensville County Public Schools.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Dr. Edwards, you will share with us the CAP update.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. And as you know, Greensville County Public Schools is under a memorandum of understanding with the Virginia Department of Education, where we are working diligently to improve all instructional systems so that we can hopefully one day come from under this MOU. And so now I will give my corrective action plan update that I do monthly. On the academic and student success, we had a strategic planning meeting with the Berkeley Group, and our work has culminated. And again, we certainly say thank you to Dr. Baker for all the work him and Berkeley Group has done with us. We met with Concentric. As you know, chronic absenteeism is a big component of our student success here in Greensville County Public Schools. And where unfortunately we had, in some situations, over 40% of our students be chronically absent. And we're putting parameters and things in place to help make sure that our students get to school and stay in school. We had the Region 8 Superintendent's Retreat, conference with Catapult on the secondary level at the middle and high school where we're working with writing. We met with Concentric also again on the component of chronic absenteeism on June the 2nd, participated in SOL data discussions with Region 8, and as a result of those discussions, the 12 school divisions in Region 8 are creating a think tank where we come together. For example, we are doing some phenomenal work in the component of math and component of literacy at the elementary school. And so when you look at where we are with that, if there's a partnership, let's say in Cumberland County, where they are doing some fantastic work in science, we will partner with Cumberland to look at what they're doing in science to see if we can replicate that here in Greensville County Public Schools. We're also working on participated with the Cook Center. As you know, mental health is health. And so we want our staff, students to have mental wellness. And we are facilitated with science instructional coach, director of math and science on biology remediation here at the high school for the month of May. Continuing in the efforts of instructional improvement, weekly consultation with our Office of School Quality Liaison, Dr. Johnson, were held on the 15th of May, the 25th of May, and the 29th of May. As always, we have senior executive leadership team meetings, May 13th, May 27th, June the 3rd, and most recently today. Had a directors meeting where Dr. Baker met with our whole entire leadership team on the 20th for the strategic plan work session 6. Under leadership and governance, the superintendent, chief academic officer, and board members participated in the VSBA financial cohort last training on May the 21st. Had a budget committee meeting. The superintendent and chief human resource officer and policy committee met in May. Participated in a work session on strategic planning. Met with executive coach Dr. Gordon, who is the superintendent of Suffolk City Public Schools. Participated in ongoing VBOS training and seminars. Weekly discussions with Dr. Johnson, and attended the Region 8 Superintendent's meeting on June the 3rd. Under operation and support services, practices to control to create environments that promote student and staff success. Looking at overall our bus fleet, the condition of our buses here in Greensville County Public Schools. Continuing the construction on a new walkway at Greensville Elementary School. Looking at media construction here at the high school that was done at the elementary school. And our SROs and SSOs participating in safety meetings held with Dr. Carey to continue safety within Greensville County Public Schools. Under human resources, contracts were given to teachers for the 2024-2025 school year on the 9th of June. On the 6th of June. Planning meetings continue to frontline integration for human resources and finance. Continuous licensure meetings with teachers. Staffing plans for the 24-25 school year, and we are continuously working with the policy committee to update our policies. Under the auspices of community relations and communications, where we are to develop and implement practices to effectively communicate with stakeholders. Attended the Greensville County Training School historical event. Attended the Rotary Club meeting. Met with officials from Boar's Head to partner on tutor funding. Met with members of Roses to discuss restorative justice funding for Greensville County High School. Held meetings with Southside Virginia Community College on our upcoming early college. And we're continuously updating our website and school events postings on the social media. Madam Chair, and to the board, that concludes the month of June's corrective action plan update.
Thank you, Dr. Evans. Dr. Edwards will present the student growth and summer learning.
At this time, I'd like to call Dr. Farquharson, our Chief Academic Officer, to the podium, where she'll discuss how we're going to look at growth reports and our upcoming summer learning opportunities for our students. As we know, this is the last week of school. And while Dr. Farquharson is coming forward, would you show that picture right there? There it is right there. We want to say a special congratulations to the class of 2024 here held in the Greensville County High School Gymnasium. Those marvelous young men and women have entered the next plateau and chapters of their life by graduating Greensville County Public Schools. And we salute them. We salute their families and this community as they supported these young people through their 13 years of education here in Greensville County Public Schools. So to everyone from the elementary, middle, and the high level that they transitioned through, we say thank you and we say congratulations to the class of 2024. Dr. Farkas.
School board members. Our student growth reports are actually our parent reports, which will be available to our parents after SOL testing has been completed. So we want to make sure that all of our parents know that they will receive documentation for their students in reference to SOL scores. And if they have any questions around the parent reports, they can reach out to Ms. Whitaker, our director of testing for our student reports. On last month, we talked about summer learning. Well, it is time. June 24th is our first day for summer learning. It is posted on our division website. So parents, community, if you have any questions around summer learning, the information can be found on the division website. We do start on June 24th through July 18th. Our elementary school times are 8:45 to 2:45. Our middle school times are 8:30 to 2:30. Our high school times are 9:45 to 1:30. Transportation and meals will be available for all students. Buses will pick up from our neighborhood bus stops. Students who are required to attend our summer learning program will be notified by either the summer learning administrator and or the school counselor. But parents, if you have any questions around summer learning, please contact your child's individual schools. Can you go to the, so they can see that? Up to the main part of them. Yes. So the flyer for summer, this is the flyer, but it also comes up on the main page on the school division webpage. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Farkas.
Special, yes. Dr. Edwards, will you share with us the special recognitions?
Yes, Madam Chair, and to the board. This evening, we'd like to call Ms. Riddick, Chief Human Resource Officer, forward, and we will have our special recognitions for the month of June.
Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Edwards, colleagues, and guests, good evening.
Good evening.
Tonight, we have very few announcements and recognitions. First, for Juneteenth, on June 16, 2023, President Joe Biden signed the bipartisan law establishing Juneteenth as the first new federal holiday since the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday nearly 4 decades ago. On Juneteenth Day observance, we commemorate America's dedication to the cause on freedom. With that being said, Greensville County Public Schools will be closed on Wednesday, June 19th, 2024. Father's Day in the United States is the third Sunday of June. It celebrates the contributions that fathers and father figures make for their children's lives. So we want to wish all the fathers present in our community and here and father figures a very happy Father's Day. As Dr. Edwards stated, we had members of the central office team and board members who participated in the fiscal governance cohort of the Virginia School Board Association, and they have completed that cohort. So here, certificate of achievement. The certificate is proudly presented to Greensville County Public Schools for participation in the 2024 fiscal governance cohort of the Virginia School Boards Association. So congratulations to you all. And my favorite part, we've had so much fun this year competing with one another in schools with our staff attendance and student attendance. And Dr. Edwards asked, who was over 80%? So we have grown in all areas because all schools were over 80% in staff attendance and student attendance. So that's really great. But this evening, only one school will take all 3 trophies away. So I would like to ask the Wyatt Middle School administrative team to please come forward. Dr. Scott, can you please assist me? They get the Clean School Award with 90% in student attendance and 92.6% in staff attendance. So congratulations. She said they get all 3. Hold tight, hold tight. So congratulations to Wyatt Middle School.
Absolutely.
Great job.
Now we will share board committee reports. I will take the liberty of going first as to give you the report of the governor's school. I attended the last meeting for this session. They are including some additional English classes and anticipating a slight increase in enrollment. And so Greensville has several slots and we're planning to fill every one.
Yes, ma'am.
Colonel Lance. Yes, we're moving to action items. And the first item will be federal grants.
Yes. Dr. Robertson? Where's Dr. Robertson? Mr. Collier? Oh, there she is. Yeah, so each year, we apply for our various grants. Our Title I Part A, which is responsible for a lot of funding on the federal side here in Greensville County Public Schools, is how we staff our paraprofessionals, a lot of them, and how we have additional resources with our teachers. So Title I Part D, which talks about delinquent and at-risk students. Title II Part A, which is support effective instruction. Title III Part A, language instruction for EL students at GES, Wyatt, and GCHS. Title IV Part A, which is student support, and also Title V Part B, which is rural education. Dr. Robinson oversees all of our federal grants, and annually we come before the board to talk about moving our next steps. And so you have the federal grants in your packet, and if there are any questions that you may have as relates to what do we do with all our federal funding, then I implore the board to ask at this time.
I'll ask one. Under Title I Part D for the SEL programs, if you could just speak to those 2 programs and what we're offering for that.
There we go.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. This is a grant we are receiving because Jacksonville Homes is housed within our locality. So these funds have to be used for our at-risk students. And for the upcoming school year, we will propose to use these funds for virtual instruction through Edgenuity and Imagine Learning for school after school enrolled students, to have up to 30 students attend Campaloosa at Chowan University. And that is taking our at-risk students to a college campus experience. They get to stay there for almost a week and get to see what it's like to take college courses, live on the campus, enjoy college food, just get the feel for the life in hopes of keeping them to stay enrolled in school. We utilize these funds to reduce dropout rates, and we are definitely heading in the right direction with that. And we will also utilize those funds for social emotional learning programs, and we are looking to utilize those funds for Girls on the Run at Greensville Elementary School and Heart and Soul at Wyatt Middle School.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Any other questions?
Nothing else? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Roberts. Thank you. And to the board, this is our federal grants that we receive and have applied for. And at this time, I would like to seek, if it's a board pleasure, recommending the federal grants as written for approval.
Seeking a motion for a recommendation to approve the federal grants as written.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second that we accept the federal grants as written. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the motion is passed. Okay, we'll move to the Greensville County Public Schools Strategic Plan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We've had the culminating, overarching 6 sessions, which we thank all personnel that participated, and definitely want to say special thank you to the committee that started even back in 2021, when there were a whole lot of meetings held throughout the community, and even in 2020, keeping the component when you say, what do you want in a strategic plan? And we created the current plan that we're under through a lot of community involvement, and we expanded this through the 6 sessions. And so at this time, to the board, we are recommending the GCPS strategic plan transforming GCPS 2030.
I'm seeking a motion for the recommendation from Dr. Edwards.
Second.
It's been proved and properly second that we accept the GCPS strategic plan as presented by Dr. Edwards. We'll now move to the division literacy plan. Oh, excuse me, I couldn't do, I guess it's, I'm sorry, I'm moving too fast. We need to call for the vote for the recommendation for the strategic plan. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the motion is carried. Now we will move to the division literacy plan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Division Literacy Plan has been an undertaking, and there was a lot of thought processes going into the Division Literacy Plan. And before we look at the final component, before bringing it for approval, I'd like to ask Dr. Farquharson and Dr. Rochelle to come forward, because they were thoroughly involved, as well as the literacy team at Greensville Elementary School, before we put this to paper and making this plan a reality. Several sessions were held, as you know, the Virginia Literacy Act, and under the leadership of Dr. Coons at the Virginia Department of Education, where we had 4 sessions with all Region 8 school divisions. And so, Dr. Rochelle, Dr. Farquharson, I turn it over to you.
So during our April 18th school board meeting, the Greensville County Public Schools Division Literacy Plan was presented in accordance with the Virginia Literacy Act under the guidance of Dr. Rochelle, with the support in writing it from our GES reading coaches and reading specialists and our Wyatt Middle School reading specialists. We present to you for approval the Greensville County Public Schools Literacy Plan. Once approved, the plan as required by the Virginia Department of Education will be located on our division website. A copy of the plan and the links for the support are included in your documents. Are there any questions that Dr. Rochelle can answer?
Well, let's hear from Dr. Dr. Rochelle.
It's been a long process, but a very successful process. I want to thank the principals of E.W. Wyatt Middle School, as well as Greensville Elementary School, for allowing their staff to work with me like on a bi-weekly basis to get this plan complete. We're also in the process, and this will come to you later, of recreating our literacy handbook for both elementary and secondary schools, so you can look for that soon. Thank you.
And definitely a interactive process. And again, we thank GES and we thank EW Wyatt for every aspect they had in the development of this plan. And so at this time, we are seeking approval of the division literacy plan.
I don't have a question, but as they're walking back, you could, I'll just make a note, this is extremely clean to read and keep up with, so it is a testament to your team's hard work. So thank you for that.
We appreciate that. Taking a motion to accept the division literacy plan.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we accept the division literacy plan. All that are in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, nay. The ayes have it, and the plan passed.
As we have discussed in our meetings previously, the board is looking to put up Hicksfoot for sale. And we are moving forward with that process. And we will begin looking at the other components of the process. We had discussions with the county, and we will be moving forward with the sale of Hicksfoot Elementary School.
Can I add to that?
Yes, sir.
It might be an inside joke, but I'll at least say it out loud.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if we are successful in selling this land, this would be 100% money that this board can control what we use it for. Sorry if that was wrong, but it's just,
No, you gave them the option to put their wish list together.
Yes.
So go ahead and make your wish list.
Yes. Awesome. Yes, ma'am.
Move to public comment.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're going to move. Any citizen may address the board at any regular meeting. To address the board, the public comment sign-up form should be completed and submitted to the school board clerk no later than 24 hours before the meeting begins. The board asks that each participant's comment pertain to an agenda item. To accomplish all business on the agenda, board members will not be able to engage in dialogue with individual members of the audience, and no immediate action will be taken on any public comment issue. The chair is responsible for the orderly conduct of the meeting and shall rule on such matters as the appropriateness of the subject being presented and the length of time for each presentation. The allotted period of time with the board during public comment is 3 minutes. We have anyone who signed up to make comment?
We had one, but she's since then asked to meet with Dr. Edwards.
Anyone else? From the floor?
No.
Make sure your mic is turned on. Okay. All right.
Good evening, board. My name is Jakiba Newell. There are some concerns about raises, steps, and funds within GCPS. Dr. Edwards, excuse me, asked to meet with us tomorrow, June 11, 2024, at 4:15 p.m. GES, Wyatt, and our high school families are invited to come and share their concerns. Let's stick together to get what we deserve. We would also like to address the board before the closed session, if possible.
We can discuss after this.
All right. We ready to move into closing?
any other one? See if there's any
Anyone,
other.
any additional comment? Concern?
Hold on. You can still, she asked if anybody from the floor would like to.
Right.
If y'all can go
You
to
go to
the
the mic.
podium. Yeah.
I'm right here. Say how you feel. Okay, my son is nervous. I'm a mother. Go ahead with your grandmother. My son was going to commit suicide October 18, 2023. I'm pretty sure everybody in here knows about it, okay? We haven't had a plan. When I asked you all for a plan, I got nothing. I received nothing. I didn't get a homebound instructor until after school.
the winter break, yeah. Your assistant superintendent, Dr. Scott, I have a recording of it, laughed at my child, the fact that he wanted to commit suicide. And to me, this is not a laughing matter. When I attended Greensville, I had the help and support. My son and my daughter don't have the help and support. Not only did that happen, but I was also accused at Greensville Elementary School that I administered my daughter drugs. When I took her to the doctor, she had not one, but a double ear infection. And right behind that, my daughter almost lost her life, okay, with double walking pneumonia. Also, she was septic and it was also in her stomach. And you all say that you have a plan for children. My child is a special needs child. I'm not going to be quiet this go round. Y'all have shut me up for almost a year, and now I'm letting it be known. My son was going to harm himself with no help and no support, and I begged you all to help my child, and you all did absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Till today, he don't have an IEP. His 504 plan is not complete. We have nothing. And my son has been ejected out of the school since October 18th of 2023. How do you all plan to help this 10-year-old that was going to kill himself, who had a plan to harm himself in the care of your administration? Oh, nothing. You don't know. Well, let me
I'm sorry,
explain
ma'am.
it to you,
It
Dr.
did-
Edwards Hope, because I know my grandfather spoke to you too about it. So let me give you a
Absolutely.
little. I know he did. He let me
And
know,
so at this
and it was a
time-
glimpse. Let me
at
give you
this
a glimpse.
time-
No. Let me give you a glimpse of how this goes. My
Ma'am,
child.
your 3 minutes are up.
It's not.
Your 3 minutes
It's
are
not.
up, and here.
This is the problem now.
No, ma'am.
You, and a lot of y'all in here has shut me up, and I'm no longer going to be quiet. My son, since we have the Mahern River, was at the bottom of that river. Who went and got him? Did you go get him? Did you go get him? Did any of you all go get him? I think I went and got him. Until this day, if you will sit here paying attention, he is uncomfortable being in here around every single last one of you. But you have a plan. You can help a child. What child did you help? Other than the ones you all have in favor. My child had no favor. Y'all didn't give him grace, nor did you give him mercy. Y'all labeled my child. Your teacher, Miss Adams, let me know. I have that recorded as well.
This is not the time.
Because when I tried to meet with you, Dr. Edwards, you didn't want to meet with me. Now
Excuse
did
me.
Dr. Scott. None of you all administration wanted to meet with me. So now today is my day to talk
No,
because
ma'am.
I
Your
still
3
have to
minutes
fight for
are
my
up.
child.
Your 3 minutes are up,
And
ma'am.
you all don't even understand the fact that I've lost everything
This is-
because I have to be here for my child that you all have constantly murdered mentally. But y'all have a plan for children and everybody else with
Mr.
mental
Ellis,
health.
would
But
you-
this is a child that's disabled with a mental disability right now. Don't touch me, Mr. Ellis. Don't touch me. Don't walk up to me because y'all are wrong. Y'all are very dead wrong. Y'all don't help these kids. You're killing them. You're freaking killing them. No, Mr. Ellis, you was not supported in school. It's not too many more like you. All the rest of y'all sat here and watched him die. No, I don't know, Mr. Ellis. You know how many times I've talked? I've talked since October 18th, 2023. No, I'm going to talk now.
We have
Do you
a-
understand the pain now? Do you? I don't think you do.
All right, we're coming back in off of recess. It's now 6:11. Are there any additional comments from the floor? We're at the school closed session, yes. I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session. Oh, we're good. Okay. Move to enter closed session to discuss, consider, or interview prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, discipline, or resignations of specific public officers, appointees, or employees of the school board. Seeking a motion. Okay. I move that the school board go into closed session to conduct a student hearing for student number 2024-4, 2024-5, and 2024-6, as authorized by section 2.6, 3711 AZ of the Code of Virginia.
So move.
It's been moved and properly second that we go into closed session. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and we are now going into closed session. moving back to open session, we want to certify the things that were done in the closed session. We have a motion.
Madam Chair, Janet Roberts.
Yes,
Vice Chair, Rustin Jesse.
Yes.
Mr. Ronald Pearson.
yes.
Ms. Bessie Lee Moore.
Yes.
We're ready.
Madam Chair, and to the board, administration is recommending approval of the personnel agenda as presented in closed session.
You need to take a vote on it?
Mhm.
All right. I'll take, send a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second that we accept the personnel matters that were presented in closed session. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
One more motion.
Now, we're entertaining a motion for adjournment.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second that we adjourn today's school board meeting at this time. Let's see what the time is. But anyway, all right.
8:17.
8:17. Okay. We will, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the meeting is adjourned.